Hey, what's up? GW coming to you live. As promised, we are going to review Until Dawn. I just got done watching it, and I got to tell you something. First of all, it's based off the PlayStation video game, which sold like a bazillion copies, right? The only glaring omission that one fan might find, well, there's a lot of them, but one in particular would be the absence of Rami Malek. He would have been perfect in this, and it would have fit the tone better because he was the original actor, one of the original actors in the game. As for the movie itself, it's a pretty interesting, clever little piece of horror film. Uh, I'll read the description on the back of the DVD. 1 year after her sister Melanie's disappearance, Clover and her friends head out to a remote valley where she vanished in search of answers. They never really elaborate on that. They just said she kind of took off. And, in an abandoned visitor center, they are hunted and murdered one by one and find themselves reliving the night over and over again. Each time with a new terrifying threat, with limited deaths left, they must survive until dawn to escape. It's a rinse and repeat deal in this movie, and I'll tell you something. What makes this thing pretty interesting is not only that they do come back and face different threats, but the gore is ramped up something fierce. I mean, this thing is not afraid to show graphic violence in all of its glory, I'm telling you right now. The thing that I liked about it, as the film goes on, more clues are revealed, just like in the game. And I remember reading about this movie review, and it said, fans of the game will hate the movie. And it's like, okay, but it could still be good. But everywhere I looked at it, this thing was trashed. So I was on the fence about buying it, and I said, you know what, let me check it out. Let me see what's going on here. And first of all, it's a real clever story. One of the interesting things is Peter Stormare, who was the narrator in the game, is actually in here. And he plays the main villain, if you will, in there. And this is a movie where even water can kill you. Now, the general story is, in this little visitor center deal, adjacent to that was a mine that got closed down due to a mining accident. So the whole town sunk into the earth, and paranoia and fear turned residents into monsters. Very, very well done monsters, if you will. The makeup effects in here were top notch. The gore was incredible. The actors were great. I've never seen them really on anything, but the deaths come pretty fast, pretty wicked. I mean, once they get to the visitor center, it's just a marathon of killings and murder and mysteries trying to be solved. I mean, it's a pretty interesting movie. For an hour and 45 minutes, this thing really, really powers through. It takes ideas from the game, obviously, but it's not a complete representation of the game. It's based off of it. It's not the actual game, And some of the deaths are pretty elaborate, and you can see they were pulled from other films. But it was interesting. It's not as bad as what critics would let you to believe. Now, I believe it's premiering on HBO Max here, or Netflix. Netflix. I just read that. So you might want to check it out. Just wait a little bit. But I got like I said, I got the Blu-ray. But it's a neat little story, and everybody. This is a movie that you'd probably have to watch a few times over to really have it have an impact on you. But for the first watch, it was pretty interesting. There are some stages that were in the game, some environments that were in the game that are pulled over into the movie. One of the things that I liked about the game that not necessarily is in the movie is that when you started playing the game, you thought it was one threat, it switched to another, and by the end of the game, it turned into something else. So it had you playing the guessing game. But all in all, I mean, it was a fun movie. This came out earlier this year, as well as, the Final Destination films. But, like I said, cast was amazing. There's some people in here that I hope go on to do more in the way of horror, as well as, drama, because these actors are really good. This was directed by David F. Sandberg and producer Loretta Lawson, which I don't know much about him, but if this is David Sandberg's first effort, it's a very, very well done horror film. And he didn't skimp on the budget, I can tell you that right now. I mean, the gore was, like I said, top notch. I don't even know who did the gore effects, but really, really amazing. And like I just got done saying, the cast was really great. The story, it could have been structured better, but I would venture to say that if they ever do a sequel, then they should figure out why that you have to keep reliving the night, because there are some questions in this film that aren't answered, And the big question at the end of the game, if you played the game, you could have everybody live or everybody die. Or you could have a few people live and the rest die. I mean, it was however you wanted to play the game, you could do it. But like I said, very creative, very gore-filled. The only thing that I didn't like about this movie is toward the end of the movie, the one character, he has a bunch of video footage on his phone. And that video footage is nowhere in the actual movie. So it's a little bit out of chronological order. And it makes you wonder if those video footage scenes are going to be in the deleted and extended scenes, which I haven't seen. But if you put it and expand the movie, maybe it'd be good. But the monsters are top notch, and there's some really good jump scares in here too. So it's not filmed on the cheap, and it's not, it's not just copy and paste from other horror films. This thing actually has an original idea. And for this, like I said, hopefully being the first entry, and I would say if I could see 3 movies being made of this. Now granted there aren't 3 games, but if you can expand on this and come out with, Until Dawn Part 2, and maybe go back, because the very last scene hints at a sequel. But very original idea. Like I said, the pros on this, very original idea. Very good cast. Gore is amazing. Con, the story at times is a little weak and is not explained well, but it's easy enough to follow. And, really, it's a great film. It's like a roller coaster ride, basically. You get on, you throw rational thought out the window. Even if you haven't played the game, I think it would be easy for you to get involved in the movie without even playing the game. So that's my review. I was really surprised at this film. The way the reviews were structured around this thing, it seemed like it was one of the worst movies ever. And I know that the PlayStation game has a diehard fan base. I played it once, and I got everybody out alive. Played it a second time, but that was back in the day. But it is a very creative game, and it took ideas from it. And I wasn't expecting a shot-for-shot remake of the video game, obviously. And this film actually marks PlayStation's first foray into film, something that Xbox hasn't done. So again, give PlayStation points for originality, because they stepped up and actually brought their media to film. This movie was talked about and was in production for a while, and finally came to fruition, because this was one of PlayStation's early titles, guys. If you look back, when PlayStation 4 hit, this was one of the big all-time sellers. So it was a no-brainer that a movie was reviewed. In fact, PlayStation had another unofficial movie, but it never put it out, called Tomb Raider. Not the Angelina Jolie version. I'm talking about the remake version. They were going to make a sequel to that, and I guess it fell under the table, and it's not going to be done. But I'd like to see one. But like I said, very cool horror film. Check it out. Like I said, it's an hour and 45 minutes. And it's one you really have to pay attention to. That would be the other con. If you don't have time and you're looking for, and you think this is just a walk in the park, paint by number slasher, it's not. It is something you really have to pay attention to. And it does surprise you because some of the gore, like I said, it's probably pushing the boundaries of an R rating. I mean, the gore list is amazing. You get people murdered by pickaxe, knives, throat slit by broken glass. You have a killer who gets his head splattered graphically, Toxic Avenger 1984 style, by a sledgehammer. I mean, this thing does not hold back. People exploding when water hits them. I mean, whoever worked on it must have had their work cut out for him, because this movie is gory as hell. And I say that in a good way because it never gets boring. You know what I mean? It never drags because you know somebody's going to get it. It's just a question of how or when. So definitely check this out if you're a horror fan. I really enjoyed it. Makes me want to go check out the game actually again. But the cast is phenomenal. Like I said, gore is top notch. And it was a fun roller coaster ride. You just put your brain on, vacation for about an hour and a half and just run with it. But I was very surprised because the reviews of this thing, like I just mentioned, said it was trashed. And I think it's not. I think people misunderstood it. I think they wanted to be a shot-for-shot remake of the game. You can't do that. And David Sandberg did a phenomenal job of bringing this to light. I think this is one of the best horror video game adaptations since Resident Evil or Silent Hill. So, but you guys use your own judgment. I really enjoyed it. It was it's definitely a cool film. That's all I can say. So, and again, thank you for everybody for watching. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I put that McBride's Pizza parade footage on there, and I went to go check my subscriptions, and I was like, oh my God, I have people I didn't even know subscribe to me. So I'm sorry if I didn't give you a shout out. I just didn't realize that I had so many. Emily Shatire for one. We got Peyton Lutz. We got Quinn. And Rob Flick. Everybody that I haven't given a shout out to, I am very sorry. I just I didn't know I had so many people watching me. So, but and yes, you can tell I've been up for a while. Had a few cups of coffee, but I'm ready to go. And definitely, if you get a minute, check out Until Dawn. Very good horror film. Very splattery. Very gory. Very gooey. Entertaining roller coaster ride. Thank you for watching.